Okay, now we have drawn two parts of the pen drive, so we are going to draw the last part of the pen drive, which is this part, which is a spacer, and it's very simple shape that we can draw. Just follow the dimension here, 10 times 10.5, and then we have a curve here. So go to AutoCAD, and for me I prefer to draw on a 2D view first. So select line, go by 10, go down by 10.5, and then and 10.5. Okay, then we are going to draw the curve. If here the center point is here, the distance between this is 3.5, so this is 5, so the distance from here to here is 1.5, sorry. So draw just one line here, 1.5 as a guide, and then we can draw a circle with the radius of 3.5. Draw another line here. One more line. Okay, so now we are going to do some trimming. Enter. This one, this one, this one, and lastly we delete this one. Okay, now we already draw the 2D shape. We go to isometric view, and we are going to extrude it, but before that we need to join this part, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Join it. After join it, we can now extrude it. Select extrude, select the object, enter, and the depth is 2.5. okay, again, because we are going down, so it's negative 2.5 by considering that the z axis is on the top. Okay, so it's going to be like this. And then we are going to press pull this part for 2.5 minus 0.3, so 2.2. Go down, minus 2.2. okay, so we have, yeah, that's about it. You can change the color if you want, but for me I think it's the color is almost similar, so just want to give you some idea about the different colors. So now we already have all the parts for the pen drive. Let me show the X-ray view. So for the X-ray view, you can see here for the casing, we have a hole that we're going to put in the spacer as well as the chip here inside, and then we are going to do some cross section of the object. So this is how we draw the 3D model of the pen drive. So for activity number 4, develop and explode view. As I already mentioned during the lecture class, for the assembly view, we have the total assembly view where all the parts have been assembled together, and in the same time we also have an explode view where all the parts were arranged near to each other in such a way that is going to show the arrangement of all the parts. So like this one, I think it's better for us to arrange it so that it's going to be in this direction. So for the assembly view, maybe what I'm going to do is to move this object so that it's going to be on the same line. So select this object, enter, and have this, and then something like this. Okay, you can see here some line that we can delete. This one also, and for this one can also move in the position that is in parallel with the one that we want. Let's just put here. Okay, so sometimes it's a bit hard for us to move it because of the Y and X axis, so that's why you have to play around with the Y and X axis in order for you to move it according to the position that you want. Okay, something like this. Maybe this one we are going to move it a bit near to the casing, something like this. For this one too. So okay, from this side this look okay, but we have to also see from other angles. Sometimes the arrangement is not proper. It's not proper actually. That's why what we can do is to change this axis according to the axis of the position that we want. Say this one, enter. Okay, something like this, you know, you can arrange it later. Like this one, you can see that it's a bit above. So again, on this side, and move down the object that you want, something like that. This one too. So that is going to show the arrangement that it can be assembled. Yeah. You can do it properly after this, but I want to show you how to assemble the pen drive, and this is can be arranged by moving the parts inside of the main parts. Before we proceed with the assembly drawing, I want to show you on how the explode view can be represented in the template. So go to your template, say like this. It's up to you actually to change the rotation and the size of your drawing. And again, I did not arrange it properly, so I really hope that after this you can spend some time to arrange it properly so that it's going to look nicer. And for this one, I want to show you on how the arrangement can be done. What you need to also bear in mind that you need to put some space at this area so that you can include the bill of material table, where we already done that during the 2D assembly drawing. So the same thing that we can apply for 3D assembly drawing, where we can have the bill of material table here, and then for the parts we can include balloons in order to differentiate the parts and identify one by one. So in order for us to include the balloon, what we can do is to change this model to hyper view, and then we can go to annotate, go to leader, and then change this to balloon. And then we have the multi-leader, click multi-leader, and you can have the first one. Let's say this is part number 1. Let's go to part number 1, and then this is actually part number 3. And then let's say this is part number 2. Again, in terms of the arrangement of the balloon and everything, we already covered during the 2D assembly drawing, so I really hope that you can apply it again for this 3D drawing. So after this, after you have all the balloons here, you can include the bill of material. And for this one, the bill of material again is consisted of few things, such as this is the basic one, the item, the quantity, name, and material. Let's say the part number 1 is the casing and the material is aluminium. Part number 2 is the chip and the material is PCB FR4, and part number 3 is the spacer and the material is polycarbonate. So we can prepare in the table by giving all the details here, something like this, where this bomb can be included at this side along with the balloon here. Okay, so that's about it. And now I want to show you on how to assemble this drawing so that it's going to be as one model that consists of a few parts. So it's really easy actually. What you can do is just to move all these parts together, and we need to pick which one is the main part, and this in this case, this is the part number 1 is the main part. So what I'm going to do is just going to move, let's say, part number 2 first, and then okay, sorry, what we can do is to pick the midpoint of the bottom, and then we're going to move it so that it's going to match the midpoint of this space here. Enter. So the next thing is to move this part number 3. Same thing, move, choose part number 3, and then we can choose the midpoint of the bottom here. Then we move it so that we can match the midpoint of the part number 2. So that at the end it's gonna look like this. This is the assembly drawing of the pen drive that we have drawn. You can change this from 2D wire to, let's say, wireframe, to the conceptual, to the hidden, and let's say X-ray. Okay, something like this. Now I want to show you on how to do the cross section, and this is for activity number 5. We want to cross section this into half so that we can see what inside of the pen drive. And in the previous lab I have shown you on how to do it in the layout, where it's the 3D model can be convert into 2D view, and we can cross section that view so that we can have the cross sectional view as what we want. And this time I want to show you on how to do by using other function, by using section plane. We can change this section plane in order for us to cut the plane through a 3D objects so that we can see the cross section of it. So click section plane, and it's going to give you a few option here. If you don't choose any of these, it's just going to follow the face that you want to have. Let us start with the face first. Let's say we choose this. Okay, so this is the plane it's going to cut. It's not exactly at the middle, so what you need to do is to choose this, and you can see an axis here, and then you can just move this according to where you want to locate the plane. Let's say you want to put it in the middle. Something like this. Okay, this is another way, and another way of doing that is, beside of having the face, choose section plan, and then you can choose this draw section photograph, draw section, where we can draw the section by selecting the midpoint here up to the midpoint here, and then enter. You can choose this midpoint and go to the midpoint here. Okay, enter, and then it's up to you to choose whether you want to see this side or this side. If you want to decide to choose this side as the one that remains, you click here. Okay, now it's already cut into half, that you can see the cross-sectional view of the pen drive that you have drawn. Okay, so more or less it's similar like the one that I showed you before, but this one is we did it by using the section plane. And I believe that you can also search on the internet, in the YouTube. There are so many videos to show you on how to do the section plane and so on, and how to draw a more complicated and more complex 3D drawings. And the one that I show you for this class is just a basic one, so that you can get some understanding about the way we draw, assembly, drawing, and exploded view of the 3D model. So that's about it for this lab, and I really hope that you will try it at home. And don't forget to, after you completed your task, please take a photo of your work and upload it in the Padlet. Thank you. Bye bye.